The night the city forgot how to listen was the night 3 small children learned what it felt like to be invisible. Under the golden lights of an upscale restaurant where laughter clinked louder than silverware, 3 identical boys sat side by side, their feet dangling above the floor, their untouched plates slowly cooling, their wide eyes scanning a world that did not see them. No sound reached them, yet they felt the weight of every stare that slid past without stopping, every second that stretched too long. Before we go any further, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and quiet miracles that change lives, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, subscribe to the channel, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from today. The boys were Ethan, Lucas, and Noah, deaf triplets born into a life that looked perfect from the outside. Their father, Andrew Whitmore, was a powerful CEO whose name moved markets and made headlines, a man whose tailored suits and polished speeches hid the deep cracks inside his personal life. Their mother had passed away years earlier, leaving behind a silence that even money could not fill. Andrew loved his sons fiercely, but love alone did not teach him their language. Meetings replaced moments, boardrooms replaced bedtime, and caregivers rotated through their lives like seasons. That night, delayed by a crisis that threatened his company, Andrew had arranged for the boys to be seated while he rushed to join them, unaware that minutes could feel like hours when you are small, different, and alone. Across the room, Daniel Harper noticed them. He was a single father with tired eyes and hands roughened by work, sitting in a corner booth with his young daughter asleep against his shoulder. Life had not been kind to Daniel, but it had been honest. Years earlier, his wife had died in an accident, leaving him with grief, bills, and a daughter who was also deaf. Learning sign language had not been a choice for him, it had been survival, love shaped into motion. He had learned to read the world through expressions, through hands, through the ache of being misunderstood. When he saw the triplets sitting stiffly, mirroring each other's loneliness, something in him stirred, a familiar ache that refused to be ignored. The restaurant buzzed with conversations the boys could not hear, but they felt the vibration of the room, the impatience of the waitstaff, the curiosity of strangers. They communicated quietly with each other, small hands moving under the table, trying to make sense of why no one was coming, why the world felt so far away. Fear crept in slowly, not dramatic but heavy, settling in their chests like a stone. They had been taught to be brave, but bravery was harder when hunger mixed with abandonment, even if it was only temporary. Daniel watched as one of the boys dropped his fork, the clatter drawing attention but no compassion. He felt the pull to help, the same pull that had guided him through years of advocating for his daughter in schools and hospitals that did not understand her. Rising from his seat meant risk, meant judgment, meant stepping into a story that was not his. But some moments demand courage without permission. He gently adjusted his sleeping daughter, stood up, and walked toward the table with a quiet respect, not wanting to startle them. When Daniel began to sign, the change was immediate and electric. The boys froze for a heartbeat, then their faces lit up with pure, unguarded surprise. Hands that had been tense softened, eyes that had been wary widened with relief. Someone saw them. Someone spoke their language. Their smiles spread slowly, like sunrise after a long night, and the weight they carried lifted just enough to breathe again. Daniel's movements were calm and warm, telling them they were not alone. That waiting did not mean forgotten, that kindness still existed even in loud, uncaring rooms. Other diners noticed the shift without understanding it. What they saw was a hardened man kneeling slightly, hands moving gracefully, 3 children leaning forward, laughing silently, their joy unmistakable. What they did not see was the bridge being built between strangers, the invisible barrier breaking down through empathy. The boys shared their story in signs, about their father running late, about being hungry, about feeling scared. Daniel responded with patience, reassuring them through gestures that felt like a hug made of air. When Andrew finally arrived, his world collided with a sight he was not prepared for. He stopped in his tracks, briefcase still in hand, watching another man connect with his sons in a way he never had. Shame washed over him, sharp and undeniable. He had provided everything except presence, everything except understanding. In that moment, his success felt small, his achievements hollow. He saw his sons smiling not because of luxury, but because of compassion freely given by someone who owed them nothing. Andrew approached slowly, witnessing the language of love unfold before him. Daniel noticed him and stood back, offering space without resentment. The silence between the two men was thick with unspoken truths. Andrew's gratitude was overwhelming, mixed with a realization that pierced deeper than any business failure. This stranger had given his children something priceless in a matter of minutes, something Andrew had failed to give in years. The rest of the evening unfolded differently than planned. Andrew stayed, not just physically but emotionally. He watched his sons with new eyes, noticing how alive they were when truly understood. He spoke less and observed more, absorbing the lesson that power without connection was empty. Daniel returned to his seat, his daughter still asleep, unaware that her father's small act had set something monumental in motion. In the days that followed, Andrew could not shake the image of that night. He arranged to meet Daniel again, not as a CEO but as a father seeking guidance. Pride gave way to humility as Andrew began learning sign language, struggling at first, his hands clumsy, his patience tested. His sons watched with cautious hope, every small improvement stitching their hearts back together. Board meetings were rescheduled, priorities realigned, and for the first time, Andrew chose to listen with his eyes. Daniel's life changed too. Opportunities arose that eased his financial burdens, but more importantly, he gained the quiet satisfaction of knowing his kindness had rippled outward. He never sought recognition, only believing that love multiplied when shared. His daughter gained new friends, and the triplets gained a role model who showed them that being deaf was not a weakness but a different way of experiencing the world. Months later, the restaurant felt like a distant memory, but its impact lingered in every signed conversation, every shared laugh, every moment of presence. Andrew became an advocate for accessibility, using his influence to create inclusive spaces, driven not by image but by genuine understanding. His sons grew more confident, their smiles no longer rare but radiant, anchored by a father who finally met them where they were. Just before the ending, please comment and tell us what kindness means to you in your own life. As this story comes to a close, if it touched your heart even a little, please like the video, share it with someone who believes in quiet miracles, and let us know your thoughts in the comments because your engagement helps stories like this reach the people who need them most. The world may be loud, but it is compassion that truly makes us heard.